Hello Mech Warriors, and welcome back to Goofy Mechs, the series where we take a look at some of the silliest Battletech art, and then have a look at the mech statistics to see if it's worth playing on the table. Today we're looking at the Cossack, and I don't understand how this art was made. I would presume that FASA asked for a dynamic pose of their new mech flying through the air, since it has jump jets. But not only is this pose not dynamic, it has virtually no signs of movement at all. This looks like a guy awkwardly hanging from wires in a bad green screen, and then that bad green screen is this black and white backsplash kind of image that appears to be some clouds, thin strips of clouds in the air to show that it's flying through the air. We don't get any jet propulsion coming out of the backs of the jump jets on the legs, and all of the limbs are completely pinned straight. I cannot imagine a less dynamic pose for a mech than this one. You couldn't bend the elbows, like the legs can be straight, that's fine, they're being used to propel the mech, but the arms are completely pinned straight as well? It just looks so ridiculous. As usual, there's a lot of little lines and crap all over the design. I don't know why designers do this, other than to just fill in space. There's a bunch here on the foot. I have no idea what this is for. Brian Snotty apparently decided that he wanted a little bit of asymmetry here and there, so the mech crotch has a few little vents on one side and not on the other. Other than extraneous gubbins and the ludicrous pose, I don't really have many problems with this design. Yes, it has exposed knees and hips, but this mech is basically made of paper, so that's actually pretty fitting. And I do love the giant nipple turrets coming out of the chest. These just look fantastic. Pretty silly, but actually somewhat functional, so we'll give them a pass on that. I love the ball turrets on the old school Wolverine as well, so if this is emulating those, I gotta give Brian Snotty a little bit of a nod, because that was a really fun design. More huge erect nipple cannons on my mechs, please and thank you. Okay, now I said it was made of paper, and I was not lying. This is a 20-ton mech with a 696 movement speed, meaning that it cannot produce 4 TMM, which is pretty essential for a mech of this size, even if it's not under-armored, which this one is. I do appreciate that it has 5 armor on the legs, so that at least a medium laser won't go internal and knock this thing's leg off. However, a simple PPC shot or clan large pulse laser are both capable of ripping its leg off entirely in a single hit. That is unacceptable in this era, late clan invasion, 3060s. This mech will be destroyed every single time it's deployed against anything that isn't a locust. It doesn't have the speed that a light mech should to perform its duty of scouting. By Blake's blessed balls, in the 3060s, many heavy mechs can move as fast as this thing. So it sacrifices on movement, on armor, and on durability with an XL engine. So what does it bring? Equivalent firepower to a Javelin. A 3025 Javelin. A medium laser, SRM-6, and 2 small lasers. This is pathetic. This is an utterly useless unit. On top of all of these other weird decisions, it's very expensive, but doesn't have double heat sinks. Come on, guys, stop cheaping out on the double heat sinks when you've got an XL engine in the mech. It doesn't make any sense lore-wise at all. Even if your leg wasn't blown off, you have no case for the SRM-6 ammo in the right torso, which means that if this goes up, the mech is completely gone. And then they updated the design in the the Blakist kerfuffle era. They added a bit of armor, which is nice, by swapping it to light ferrofibrous. Unfortunately, it is still susceptible to being delegged by a single clan large pulse laser, and for some reason somebody decided that it was a good idea to put cutting edge laser technology on this design. So it has a medium VSP in the left arm, which I will admit is a great weapon, especially on a fast moving mech. Unfortunately, this isn't one of those. And then 3 rocket launchers. Now, the SK1 design doesn't really feel the loss of heat sinks that much. The only time when it's going to gain heat is when it is alpha striking and either running or jumping. It will pick up significant heat when jumping and firing all weapons, but not enough to shut it down. However, the 1FC variant feels the lack of heat sinks extremely, because when you have rocket launchers, you generally want to get into a good position to use them and just let loose with all of them all at once. Gaining 6 heat just to fire all of your weapons at once is pretty bad. Add movement heat on top of that, suddenly you're at 8 heat, or 12 if you're jumping. I'd say that's pretty unforgivably bad. Just put some double heat sinks in it and then it's gonna be, well, it's still useless, so I guess it doesn't make make a difference. The one thing that this mech has going for it is that it is very cheap, under 500 battle value, and extended torso twist does mean that it can fire behind itself with all of its weapons, I suppose, but that doesn't exactly mean very much. Overall, the art is bad, and the mech is even worse. You should never run a Cossack, and this unit never should have been made. If you disagree with me, please feel free to leave a comment. I always love to hear from my viewers. Remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more Tactics Games content. Check out the live tab on my channel to see what I've been streaming lately. And as always, Mech Warriors, thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.